welcome to Evan's morning show, or whatever time you're watching this. Today we've got some pretty exciting stuff, but first I need to move some cars around. The other day, I took some time and I finally just worked on the R33. Look at that, dude. I got the manifold to fit on and I test fit the turbo. Obviously it needs to be clocked and changed. I'm going to have to repaint the valve covers and the intake manifold since it didn't crinkle correctly, so I got some more crinkle paint, but that's fitted on. We also figured out some plumbing. My friend Chris and I figured out some plumbing, so I'm gonna finally be able to do that. I'll get all of the coolant stuff on this side figured out, get this resprayed, mount it up, and I'll be one step closer to having the R33 finished. This thing is gonna be so sick. So this paint has a lot of imperfections. Actually, to clarify, this car has been repainted. Now that I've gotten a few days to look at it, I'm pretty sure the car has been totally repainted. I washed the car the other day and it looks okay, especially on camera right now, but like there's orange peel everywhere on the paint. And like this, though you can see the fender is pretty bad, but you can see, look at this door. It's all just completely fogged. Like there's no shine. You can also see like little dimple imperfections in the paint. Like, look at that. OEM paint never has those little imperfections, so this car wasn't sprayed super well. Now it doesn't mean that I can't work a little bit of magic on it, try and maybe wet sand it, make it a little better. But I have noticed that the car does have a decent amount of area with some pretty bad imperfections on it. I'm just gonna call these stretch marks. This little stuff right here, that's not really repairable. You have to repaint that. Along with that though, the rear bumper is just kind of chipping. So the rear bumper is definitely gonna be a place where no paint correction is gonna happen. I'm just going to have to repaint the entire bumper. That's totally fine. At some point in time, just like I did with the R33, I'm going to have this entire car repainted, probably the same color. But for now, I want to try and do my best. I love to try and challenge myself into doing projects like this because it helps you learn a lot. The fenders are looking okay. I mean, honestly, with a decent amount of love, I think I can maybe moderately restore this car's paint. One of the big things I'm also gonna be doing today, I've never done this while doing a detail video, I'm gonna be taking the headlights off, and while I'm detailing the car, I'm going to be opening these up, repainting the housing, and polishing up the lenses. I actually took a pretty high grit and like wet sanded and everything like that, and they did not change. Like these are very, very, very foggy, so that means they have to be reopened. You can actually see he did a really poor job of like, well, this is some overspray, but you can see there's a little silicone. I mean, he obviously opened these up and painted these silver, but that's something that I definitely want to get done today too. This car really isn't horrible, it just needs a little bit of love. Here are some of, if not all of the products I'm gonna be using today. Now, disclaimer, I always say this, every detailer has his own way of doing stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, and this stuff has worked for me, so I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. None of this is sponsored. This is all just stuff I prefer to use. I start off with a Ryobi power washer. It's actually really, really good. And then I have this little deal that I got from Upset's Garage, little attachment, really nice. It peeing on me now. Their foam cannon, which I know you guys will love to see. It works very well. I didn't get my clay out, but I like to use this I just like to use any instant detailer or whatever for claying. It doesn't really matter. I have some Meguiar's. I have an assortment of other products and a lot of different pads. I am going to probably do a little bit of moderately aggressive wet sanding today. This is like a really high, 3000 grit. So it's not super aggressive, but definitely coarse enough to make some scratches on the paint and smooth it out a little bit. So I filled this with really warm water. I'm using chemical guys. They actually don't make this anymore. This stuff is so aggressive that it actually ate through the original bottle. So I'm using a pretty thick, like Meguiar's old bottle. This stuff's really good at eating away the whatever sort of compound was originally on the car. This thing is so fun to use. I have it currently set to max foam because who doesn't like watching this? Look at that, bro. That's like inches thick. Look at that, dude. I seriously love this thing. It's the best because you can also take some pics for the gram after it too. Everybody likes looking at foamy cars. So I'm gonna let this set there for a bit. It looks so cool. It's going to start eating away at whatever used to be on the paint. Like if it had any sort of like wax or some kind of something protecting it, it's going to start eating it off. Look at that, dude, just ripping it off of there, just tearing it up. However, there's really no way to make these little puppies look good, dude. I think we've just given up on these guys. Next move is going to be using a clay bar. Clay barring is super simple, which by the way, if you ever clay bar a car, you have to polish it afterwards. You're just going to scratch. This scratches the hell out of the paint, but it takes little rock chips out. So I'm going to take this little guy. I'm going to use an ever so slightly used one, but it doesn't matter. It'll do the job either way. Also going to go ahead, tackle the headlights. I'm gonna get these taken out. Well, thankfully the bumper doesn't have to come off because he didn't put enough screws on this to keep the headlights on. There's only one bolt holding it on. Usually you have little clips like this holding the headlight together. This guy thought it was a really good idea to just not ever use those again. So he literally, you can see how much silicone he used. Not very cool. So these puppies will be in there for about 10-15 minutes. I like to do it at a low temperature, so you can do it at like 300, you can do it at 200. I usually do it at like we have a hold warm on ours, so 170. I'm gonna do that for just a few minutes, come back and they should be easily separable. From my experience, it doesn't really matter exactly what you use as long as you have some sort of lubricant. Some people like to use water, rubbing alcohol, and that's fine. I just like the way this stuff smells, and it honestly, it just works. Spray a little area, sit there, and it will pick up all of the nasties. Oh God, you can hear it. You hear that? The scraping? That's picking up, rocks, nasties and stuff all through the paint. After you're done with one good section, just squish her back up like Play-Doh and start over again. After a while, you'll start to know a physical difference, but you'll not actually be able to tell a difference with your eyes. Probably gonna have some minor scratches and stuff on it, but that's why we polish. That sounds terrible. Oh. Oh. She good now, though. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, jeez. What an ugly mess. Wow. Very disgusting headlight job we got going on here. Finished claying the entire car. This piece of clay is no longer worth anything to me. I need to throw it away. If it's ever this dirty, you don't want to use it again. She gonna get a nice yeet into the trash. Don't be fooled, the car looks really clean right now, but it's the only thing I've done is taken impurities and gross products out of the paint. So it's still scratchy, it's still, you know, its old self. Now before I go about trying my best, I'm gonna give you a little bit before footage of showing you what the paint looks like now, and hopefully I can have a nice transformation after, but there's no guarantee. It might look shiny on here, but as you can see, like, it's pretty foggy, I would say. Lots of orange peel. Now most of this is not gonna go away. There's a lot of waviness in the paint. It looks like the paint prep was just not that great. I mean, you can even see that the Toyota Supra emblem back here, they didn't even sand or take away the goo that the Toyota emblem used to have. This door is definitely gonna be the worst, like you can't even see anything. So I might try and go for this door first, just to see, because the only thing that's risky and crappy about doing cars like this is you don't know how much paint is on it. The last thing I wanna do is get too aggressive and then all of a sudden be out of paint. So I've got my handy dandy little Porter cable that I've had since I was probably 17. We are going to put this high grit sandy paper on here, and that's going to hopefully at least create a new surface to work with. I'm gonna go ahead and use a mixture of water and alcohol just to create some sort of surface, something just so, you know, I just don't dry sand everything off. Let's get her started. I'm gonna probably go ahead and start doing this half, and then we'll see what the difference is. So the goal with this is to cut down the hills and valleys of the current paint and try and create a new surface to start correcting on. Your goal is to file everything down into one flat, shiny piece. It's gonna be very faded, but it might be just a little bit smoother. The goal right now is not to make it pretty, it's to put everything onto the same level. It's kinda hard to see. You can see some areas smoothing up a little bit more than others. You go over here, it's like it's super just like gross and bubbly. Over here, it's starting to be a little flatter of a surface. There we go. Now we're cooking. So far, this is what happens when you give your boy some detailing products. Still got it, baby. So I did one more round and it's getting better. You can see it's pretty clear. Still a little as you can see, it's still a little foggy, but compared to this right here, that's pretty decent. At this point, I'm kind of getting into some weird, dangerous territory where it's like, I could gamble and I could keep hitting this paint really hard, and I could probably make it really smooth, and I would get a lot of these like these orange peel effects out. It's to the point where it's like, do I want to do that? Because if I really go too far on accident, then all of a sudden, well, I now have no paint. Detailing is sometimes a fun gamble, but right now I'm not feeling very lucky. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and keep it where it is right here. It looks fine. I don't think even the painter even thought that his paint could end up looking this good someday. So a little proud of myself right now. Actually, definitely very proud of myself. Like, come on, man. There's the start. There's the finish. That's pretty impressive. I'm a little impressed with myself right now. Then here I have Griot's like microfiber pad. These are really good. They have a really great cut to them. They're just my favorite to use for high cutting pads. And I used Meguiar's 205, I think, down here, which is a pretty abrasive, nice cut. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this door, and I'm gonna start wet sanding the rest of the car.
2 hours later.
Oh, dang it. Well, as per usual, I'm gonna spend way too much time on this detail. This side's wet sanded. I'm just gonna commit and show you guys what this is gonna look like.
A few moments later.
Okay, now this is pretty insane. Kinda hard to tell on camera, but you can definitely see the paint has a much deeper glow on the black on this side now. Insane. You look at this side, it's super dirty, it's not as glowy, and you can still see like a lot of little imperfections. It's gross, it's wavy. So this side of the hood is definitely still wavy. The paint job was bad, but I'm definitely making it look good. Also, there's an update on the mostly finished door. This is the door that was super foggy. I did a few rounds of wet sanding, a lot of compounding. I'm gonna go back through. I still haven't even done the final polish on this side. I went ahead and shined up the fender too. It's actually starting to look really good. The hood is also looking pretty good. This is about as good as the hood is gonna get though. So the hood is aluminum. Everything else is steel. One thing a lot of people don't realize once they get into detailing, it's something a lot of people don't know, is aluminum and steel heat up differently. Therefore, they also need different polishes and compounds and stuff like that. I did try and use the aggressive microfiber on this one, but it started cutting too hard. I had to actually move straight towards a softer finishing pad, so I'm pretty much done cutting the hood. If anything, I could go one more, I think, on the wet sand, and then keep doing that and cutting, but it is looking really, really good. Here I am about to spend so much time on this car, but dude, if there's any car I've ever wanted to detail in my life, it's definitely a Toyota Supra, so having a good time right now. I did get the lenses off. As you can see, they're super, super cloudy. One of them had a painted housing, I guess you could say. very badly, very poorly done. Like he did a good, he's such a sick job right here. I'm definitely not going to keep these silver. I'm gonna go straight black with these. This is actually a brand new headlight. It's looking pretty decent. I'm gonna remove all of the chrome. I'm just gonna go straight black housing because it looks way, way better.
2 hours later.
The entire car is now wet sanded. Well, at least now this half is. My rule of thumb was like, I kind of just ran my hand on it and I kind of wet sanded it until I couldn't feel any imperfections or really bad spots anymore. Now I'm gonna end up going over. I'm gonna use that compound with the microfiber and get to work and try and get it shining. The way I do it's pretty simple. I usually get a smaller area, not a smaller area, but a very concentrated area. I would say that's probably a bigger area than needed, but I do it at a moderate speed and I just let it kind of sit there. The more you let that pad do its work, the more it can dig into there and make it really shiny. All right, so I have put a lot of work in and I'm really not completely close to being done yet. I do have the entire car completely compounded and finished. I just did the finishing pad. I actually want to say, again, it's not sponsored, but I've never actually used like Griot's compound. But this stuff was really good because it was really easy to get off the paint once I was done. And so that makes it obviously less prone to scratching as well. But dude, it's actually looking mad crazy good. So the door that was super fuzzy now has, I mean, it's a little dirty right now. I still need to wipe some stuff off, but it actually has a shine to it. There's not, like, look, there's no scratches, no swirls. So I got rid of the swirls and a lot of the fuzziness. The roof is looking really, really good, really nice. I didn't put so much effort into that. Even the trunk is looking really good. Ooh, dude, she's looking good. Also, I've been painting the headlights. Now I'm going to end the detail process. Usually I would do a ceramic coat, but because I'm likely not gonna have this paint for longer than a year or two, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a classic wax. It's easier to do it that way, and I'm gonna let it settle overnight while I finish up with the headlights. I've got a sweet custom little setup here, and I really still, to this day, I love ceramic coat, but this stuff, I do love this stuff. So it's about 1 a.m. right now. I was about to go to bed, but I wanted to come outside and see my Supra so bad. I started wiping off some of the wax because I wanted to see how it did. And I gotta tell you what, dude, it's gonna look so good. All right, I'm sorry. You guys gotta wait just like I do, but next part of the video, you'll see how, ooh. All right, ladies and gents, the wax has cured overnight, and now it's time for the final reveal. All right, the wax is off of the car. I'll show you that here in a sec. I also have finished doing some touch-ups on the headlights. The headlights are looking pretty good. I'm gonna let these dry a little bit more and then I'm going to reassemble them. Headlights are going back in. I didn't really realize how poor of condition this one was at the beginning. You guys can see I polished it up and it's a little nicer, but it's still pretty foggy. Knowing that I'm going to be buying the clear headlights, the clear lenses, like I'm not gonna have all this nasty stuff. This has so much silicone on it that I honestly couldn't even get all of it cleaned off. I'm gonna try and reseal a little bit of it, but like, I mean, it can't go back together. I'm gonna put these back in. They'll work for now, but I do wanna get my actual, I do wanna get the actual headlights that I want. This lens was like really not wanting to be corrected, so I just kinda didn't give up on it, but it was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna spend so much time on these because again, I'm gonna probably get the other lenses. Here we go, guys, look what I did. Didn't touch the rear bumper, but here we go. Let me show you guys the soup. Little reflecty action there. But check this out, you guys remember how bad the door was over here? I mean, the paint was so bad. I mean, it was so bad on this. You can still see a lot of imperfections and a lot of orange peel, but I did so much wet sanding that I actually was able to bring out, at least like file down a lot of that paint. This is definitely the most aggressive job I've ever done, and holy crap, that looks amazing. That's crazy, dude. The fenders, were okay condition. At least the fenders and the door match now. The hood ended up turning out really good, but I mean, again, like, there's just so many teeny imperfections. Didn't really touch the bumper. I waxed it just so it would look better, but the new headlights look a little better. They're still pretty foggy, but the matching black housing, I'm sure actually goes with the car now, so missed a few waxy spots over here. Whoops. But I mean, you can see, like, the paint's pretty damn near flawless now. It's really good in the meantime. I mean, this is a really good looking paint for the meantime. The only rough spot that I wish I would have spent a little more time on was this rear fender right here. But you can kind of see that it's just like, there's a lot of orange peel here. It's not as reflecty, but I mean, honestly, like, look at that reflection, bro. I'm honestly pretty impressed with myself here. I've never done a wet sanding job like this. I've never done a job like this actually ever. I tried a little bit on the 33 before we actually repainted the car, but it was in such bad condition there's no way to bring out the paint color. I will say though, the paint is actually in decent enough condition. I might consider just keeping this paint for a while and then just painting the wing, repainting the rear bumper, and painting the like any of the other body kit pieces that I end up getting. But this is gonna look okay, I think, for a while, dude. To all my doubters out there, we're making it work. We're making it happen. And another addition, we got a genuine Toyota badge. It's really nice. It'll just smack her on there, bruh. And we got a Toyota. And if today wasn't good enough, I just figured out that these are not knockoffs. I've got, these are genuine veal side skirts. After all this guy did, like, to the like crappy paint job to fake wheels. What? Anyways, that was a great way to end this. I know you guys love detail videos. If you do, I guess leave a like. There's no reason to actually do that. It doesn't actually do anything, but whatever. As a little sneak peek of what came in the mail today. Oh, my daily advice for you guys, honestly, today is find the bright side. I try and tell you guys all the time that it's very important to just be thankful for what's going on in your life and to just be happy, and that's all good. But honestly, just look at the bright side. Look at what you have, not what you don't have today. You'll live a great life if you can do that. Your life will be as good as this paint. Actually, your life will be better than this paint because it's still not very good paint. You have a great, great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Hey, I got 2 videos for you, boy. And girl, or whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever your choice these days. Okay, that's a little controversial. Watch those 2 videos. I should probably shut up now.